Commander Daho stood on the bridge of his warship, watching the blue-green planet grow larger on the main screen. His tall gray body was covered in the finest battle armor, marking him as leader of the Chorus Warrior Legion. 3 bright red lines across his face showed his high rank. "Time until we reach the human colony?" Daho asked, his voice deep and rough. 2 hours, Commander," answered Han, the ship's pilot. His fingers moved quickly over the control panel. Daho nodded and walked to the viewing window. Stars filled the darkness of space. Somewhere on that small planet below, weak humans were going about their day, not knowing what was coming. Humans. Daho said the word with a mix of curiosity and disdain. Such soft creatures. The Chorus had studied humans for many years. They knew humans had no claws, no armor, and weak muscles. They needed machines to be strong. But they were smart and spread quickly to new planets. The High Command saw them as a future problem. Better to crush them now, while they were still few. "Commander, the war beasts are ready," said Lieutenant Jinwoo, walking up beside him. Jinwoo was younger, with only 1 red line on his face. "All 20 packs." Daho smiled. The war beasts were the pride of the Chorus military. Large, 6-legged creatures with teeth longer than a human hand, they were bred for battle. Their thick skin could stop most weapons. Their sense of smell could track an enemy for miles. Most importantly, they obeyed only the Chorus. "Let's see them," Daho said. They walked down to the ship's lower level. The Chorus ships landed in a wide field 3 miles from the human settlement. Tall grass bent under the hot blast of their engines. The ramps lowered with a hiss of steam, and the first scouts stepped onto the planet's soil. Lieutenant Jinwoo led the scouting team. He wore light armor that let him move quickly and quietly. His helmet showed him heat patterns and movement through the tall grass. 4 other scouts spread out behind him, weapons ready. "Move toward the settlement," Jinwoo ordered. "Stay low and quiet." They ran in a crouch through the grass, making little noise. The planet's 2 small moons gave enough light to see. In the distance, the lights of the human colony glowed against the night sky. Jinwoo raised his hand, stopping his team as they reached the top of a small hill. Below them, the human settlement spread out in neat rows. It had walls, but they were not very high or strong. Jinwoo could see people moving inside, going about their evening activities. "This is strange," one scout whispered. "They should have seen our ships land. Why aren't they running or preparing defenses?" Jinwoo watched through his helmet's viewing system. The scout was right. The humans showed no signs of fear. They walked calmly between buildings. Some even stood in groups, talking. "Maybe their sensors didn't detect us," another scout suggested. "Impossible," Jinwoo said. "Our ships are too big to miss." He took out a small recording device. "I need to report this to the commander." Back at the landing site, Commander Daho had established a command center. Maps of the area hung on portable screens. Officers moved around, preparing troops and equipment. Jinwoo entered and bowed to Daho. "Commander, we have observed the human settlement," he reported. "Something is not right. The humans are not acting afraid. They continued normal activities despite our arrival." Daho frowned. "Show me." Jinwoo played the recording. Daho watched the calm humans with narrowed eyes. "They are fools," Daho decided. "Or they think their weak shields will save them. Either way, they will learn soon." He turned to Q, the Beast Master. "Prepare the first wave of war beasts. 5 packs should be enough for this small place." Q grinned, showing sharp teeth. "Yes, Commander. They will be ready in 10 minutes." Outside, soldiers led the war beasts from the ships. The beasts pulled at their chains, hungry for action. Their yellow eyes glowed in the darkness. Sharp claws dug into the soil. Low growls filled the night air. Daho walked among them, touching each beast's head with his hand. Through the neural link, he felt their excitement, their desire to hunt. It made his blood pump faster. "Warriors of Chorus," Daho addressed his troops. Today we show these humans what real power is. The first wave of beasts will break their spirit. We follow and accept their surrender. If they resist, he let the thought hang in the air. The soldiers cheered, raising their weapons. Daho nodded to Q. The Beast Master pressed a button on his arm panel, and the neural link activated fully. Now the beasts would obey commands sent directly to their minds. Send them forward, Daho ordered. Target the main entrance to their settlement. Q sent the mental command. The war beasts' handlers released the chains. With terrifying howls, the beasts charged through the tall grass toward the human colony. Through the neural link, Daho felt what the beasts felt, the joy of the hunt, the thrill of running, the hunger for prey. It was intoxicating. Jinwu stood beside Daho, watching through digital binoculars. The humans have activated their shields, Commander. A blue energy field has appeared around the settlement. Such barriers cannot stop our beasts for long, Daho said confidently. Wait, Jinwu said suddenly. They're doing something else. They turned on large speakers on their walls. Daho frowned. Speakers? For what? I don't know, but Jinwu stopped speaking as a new sensation hit them through the neural link. Confusion. The war beasts were confused. Something was changing. What is happening? Daho demanded, pressing his hand to his temple where the neural link connection was strongest. And then they heard it, faintly at first, then growing stronger. A sound was coming from the human settlement. A sound like nothing the chorus had ever heard before. It was a voice, a human voice, singing. The voice floated through the night air like nothing the chorus had ever heard. It was soft yet strong, high yet deep, a sound that seemed to touch something deep inside even their alien minds. Daho stood frozen, listening. The voice was female, singing words he didn't understand. But it wasn't the words that mattered. It was the sound itself. The way it rose and fell, the way it seemed to wrap around his thoughts. What is that? He asked, shaking his head to clear it. No one answered. All the chorus soldiers were listening, their faces showing confusion. Through the neural link, Daho felt something even more disturbing. The war beasts were slowing down. Their run became a trot, then a walk. The bloodlust that normally filled their minds during a hunt was fading, replaced by curiosity. Impossible, Daho whispered. The beasts had reached the edge of the human settlement. The blue energy shield glowed in front of them. But instead of clawing at it or looking for ways around it, the beasts simply sat down. Their heads tilted as if listening. Commander, Q shouted, his face pale with shock. The neural link is cloudy. I can't send clear commands. The beasts won't attack. Jinwu's voice came through Daho's communicator. Sir, I'm closer to the settlement now. All 5 packs of war beasts have stopped. Some are lying down. They look calm. Calm. Daho couldn't believe it. War beasts were never calm during a hunt. They were killing machines, bred for battle and blood. It must be some kind of weapon, Daho decided. Some technology that interferes with our neural link. He turned to his communication officer. Block all frequencies coming from the human settlement. Yes, Commander, the officer said, typing quickly on his control panel. Blocking now. They waited. The officer looked up. All outside frequencies blocked, Commander. Daho reached for the neural link again, expecting to feel the familiar rage of the war beasts. Instead, the feeling of calm remained. If anything, it was stronger now. It's not working, Q said, panic in his voice. The beasts still won't respond to commands. Daho grabbed his weapon. Prepare a strike team. We'll find whatever device is causing this and destroy it. 20 chorus warriors, the best fighters in the Legion, gathered quickly. They wore full battle armor and carried heavy weapons. Daho would lead them himself. We move now, he ordered. Stay alert. This is some trick, but it will not stop the chorus empire. They ran through the tall grass toward the settlement. The singing grew louder as they got closer. Through gaps in the blue shield, Daho could see humans gathering near the walls, watching their approach without fear. When they reached the edge of the settlement, they found their war beasts sitting or lying down, completely relaxed. Some had even closed their eyes, as if enjoying the music. "This is not possible," one soldier whispered. "Nothing can control the beasts except us." Daho stepped forward, examining the shield. It was strong but basic technology, nothing special. The real mystery was the singing, which seemed to come from speakers on tall poles around the settlement. There, Jinwoo pointed to a building in the center, taller than the others. "The sound is coming from there." Daho nodded. "We need to get inside. Find the weak points in the shield." As they searched, Daho noticed something else strange. Where were the human soldiers? Why weren't they preparing to fight? All he could see were ordinary people, some young, some old, but none in armor or carrying weapons. Suddenly, the blue shield flickered and a section near them disappeared, creating an opening. "It's a trap," said Q. "Or an invitation," Jinwoo suggested. Before Daho could decide, a human stepped through the opening. It was a female, small even for a human, with dark hair and simple clothes. She wasn't carrying any weapon. She looked directly at Daho and smiled. Then she spoke, in perfect chorus language. "Commander Daho, I am my son. Would you like to meet the person who is singing?" Daho stared at the small human female. His hand tightened on his weapon. "How do you know my name?" he demanded. My son's smile didn't fade. "We've been watching your ships for days. We know much about the chorus." She pointed to the war beasts lounging peacefully nearby. "Though it seems you know little about us." Q stepped forward, anger on his face. "This is some kind of trick. Tell us how you're controlling our beasts." "I'm not controlling them," my son said calmly. "None of us are. We're simply speaking to them." She gestured toward the opening in the shield. "Please, come inside. Meet June. She's the one singing." Daho looked at his officers. Jinwoo nodded slightly. They needed to see what was happening inside. "5 of us will enter," Daho decided. "The rest will stay here, weapons ready." My son nodded. "That's fine. Follow me." Daho, Jinwoo, Q, and 2 other soldiers followed the human through the shield opening. Inside, the settlement was simple but clean. Small houses lined neat streets. Gardens grew vegetables and flowers. It looked peaceful, not like a place preparing for war. People watched them pass, but none seemed afraid. Some even smiled or waved, which confused the chorus soldiers. "Why aren't your people scared?" Jinwoo asked. "Should we be?" My son replied. "You came to attack us, but your greatest weapons are now sleeping outside our walls." They reached the center building. It was 3 stories tall, made of white stone. Inside, the walls were covered with screens showing different parts of the colony and the surrounding land. About 20 humans worked at control panels. My son led them to a small room near the back. When the door opened, the singing became much clearer. Sitting in the center of the room was another human female. She was older than my son, with lines on her face. Her eyes were closed as she sang into a simple microphone. Nothing else was in the room. No special machines, no weapons, nothing that looked like it could control war beasts. "This is June," my son said softly, not interrupting the song. Daho looked at the simple setup in disbelief. "This can't be it. Where are the control devices, the neural disruptors?" "There are none," my son answered. "Just June and her voice." Q growled and stepped forward. Enough of this lie. He pulled out a small weapon and aimed it at June. "Stop whatever you're doing to our beasts, or I'll—" He never finished his sentence. From behind them came a loud noise. 2 war beasts rushed into the room, moving faster than seemed possible. They positioned themselves between the chorus soldiers and June, teeth bared, growling at their own masters. What? Q backed away, shocked. How did they get through the shield? Daho couldn't believe his eyes. Our personal guard beasts. They're protecting her. The beasts' eyes glowed with intelligence as they watched the chorus soldiers. They made no move to attack, but their message was clear. Do not threaten the singer. June opened her eyes and stopped singing. The room fell quiet. She stood up slowly and looked at Daho. Your beasts are beautiful creatures, she said in the chorus language, her voice musical even when speaking normally. They understand far more than you've given them credit for. Daho stared at her. How are you doing this? How do you speak our language? How can you control the beasts? June shook her head. I don't control them. I simply shown them respect, something they've never received from the chorus. She placed her hand gently on one beast's head. The creature leaned into her touch, a behavior Daho had never seen before. I think, my son said, it's time we explained some things about humans. Yes, June agreed. She looked directly at Daho. You came here believing you knew all about us, that we were weak, easy to conquer. But there's something about humans that no other species has discovered until it was too late. And what is that? Daho asked, his voice quiet now. June smiled. Let me show you. June led Daho and his officers to a larger room filled with screens and maps. My son followed, along with the two war beasts who stayed close to June. The beasts' behavior continued to shock Daho. They were acting like tame pets, not the fierce killers they were bred to be. Please, sit, June said, pointing to chairs around a round table. Daho sat stiffly, his mind racing. Nothing made sense. The neural link with the war beasts still felt cloudy, like someone had placed a soft blanket over it. Let me tell you about Earth, the planet where humans come from, June began. It's a world of many different animals, more types than most planets have. To survive there, humans had to understand all these animals. She touched a screen, and images appeared of Earth. Jungles, oceans, deserts, all filled with different creatures. Over many thousands of years, humans developed something special, a brain that can connect with other living things. June continued, not control them, but understand them. Feel what they feel. Empathy. My son added, that's what we call it. Q snorted. That's impossible. No species can read minds. Not reading minds, June corrected. Feeling emotions, sensing needs, communicating in ways beyond words. She looked at the war beasts by her side. Your beautiful creatures are very smart. They understand much more than you think. They just needed someone to listen to them. Jin Wu leaned forward. Are you saying all humans can do this? All humans have some ability, my son explained. Some, like June, have very strong abilities. When we detected your ships coming, we studied the neural patterns your ships were sending to the war beasts. June practiced matching those patterns with her voice. Daho frowned. You knew we were coming. You prepared for us. Of course, June smiled. We've met other species like yours before. Species that think, because we look soft, we are weak. She touched another screen. Images appeared of humans working with strange alien creatures on different planets. We've made peace with 12 other species who came to conquer us. My son said, all of them now trade with us instead. Daho stared at the images. He recognized some of the aliens, the Vex, the Taurians, powerful species that had expanded their territories rapidly. But here they were, working alongside humans. This can't be true, Q insisted. The Vex don't make peace with anyone. They do with us, Jun said simply, because we offered something better than war. What could be better than conquest? Daho asked, repeating what every chorus learned from birth. Partnership, Jun answered. The Vex ships now use engines designed by humans. The Taurians have human doctors who can cure diseases that were killing them. We don't want to rule others. We want to help everyone grow stronger together. One of the war beasts made a soft noise and pushed its head against Jum's hand. She stroked it gently. "Your beasts are amazing creatures," she said, "but you've been using them all wrong. They aren't just weapons. They're intelligent. They have feelings. They want more than just hunting and killing." Daho watched as the beast closed its eyes, enjoying Jum's touch. He had never seen one act this way. "I still don't understand how you do this," he said. "It shouldn't be possible." My son walked to a small machine in the corner and picked up a headset. "Perhaps seeing will help you believe. This will show you what Jum sees when she looks at your beasts." She offered the headset to Daho. He hesitated, then took it. What did he have to lose? The invasion was already failing. He put the headset on. At first, he saw nothing special. Then Jum began to hum softly, and the view changed. Colors flowed from the war beasts, not just simple emotions like he felt through the neural link, but complex patterns, memories, desires, dreams. Daho gasped and removed the headset. He looked at the war beasts with new eyes. "They're thinking," he whispered. "Really thinking." "Yes," Jun said gently. "They always have been. You just never noticed." Daho returned to his ship in silence. His mind was full of new thoughts, uncomfortable thoughts. The war beasts followed the chorus soldiers back, but they moved differently now. They walked calmly, without growling or pulling at their chains. They looked around with clear, intelligent eyes. Inside the ship, the other chorus soldiers stared in shock. "Commander, what happened?" asked Sung, Daho's second in command. "Why aren't the beasts attacking? Why have we not taken the human settlement?" Daho didn't answer right away. He walked to the command center and sat down heavily in his chair. "Call all officers to the meeting room," he finally said. "I need to explain what we found." 20 minutes later, all the ship's officers gathered. Their faces showed worry and confusion. This was not how a chorus invasion should go. "The humans," Daho began, "are not what we thought." He explained what he had seen in the human settlement. How the singer Jum could calm the war beasts with just her voice. How humans had a special ability to connect with other living things. How they had made peace with other powerful species. "Lies," shouted one officer. "They are tricking you, Commander." "I saw it with my own eyes," Daho said firmly. "I felt it through the neural link. The war beasts respond to them better than to us. And the beasts," he paused, "the beasts are more than weapons. They have minds, feelings that we never noticed." The room filled with angry voices. The chorus had built their empire on the strength of their war beasts. This changed everything. "What are your orders, Commander?" Sung asked when the noise died down. Before Daho could answer, the communication screen lit up. An angry face appeared. General Ta, leader of the Chorus High Command. "Commander Daho," the general barked. "We are waiting for news of your victory. Why have you not reported the fall of the human settlement?" Daho stood straight. "Sir, there have been complications." "What complications? Your force is 10 times stronger than those weak humans." Daho explained the situation as clearly as he could. As he spoke, General Tae's face grew darker with anger. "This is unacceptable," the general shouted when Daho finished. "You will attack immediately. Use regular weapons if the beasts won't obey. Burn their settlement to the ground. Show them the true power of the Chorus Empire." The screen went black. The general had ended the call. The room was silent. All eyes were on Daho. "What will you do, Commander?" Jinwoo asked quietly. Daho looked at his officers. "If we attack with regular weapons, many chorus will die. The humans have defense systems, and without the war beasts, we lose our greatest advantage. So we retreat." Sung asked, disbelief in his voice. "The chorus never retreat." "There is another option," Jinwoo suggested. All heads turned to him. "The humans want to talk." They invited Commander Daho to meet with them again tomorrow. Q slammed his fist on the table. Talk. With prey. We are chorus. We conquer. We don't talk. Daho looked out the window at the peaceful planet. In the distance, he could see the lights of the human settlement. They had been ready for the chorus. They had found a way to turn the war beasts without any violence. The High Command doesn't understand what we're facing, he said slowly. They didn't see what I saw. A message appeared on his personal screen. It was from my son. June would like to show you something tomorrow. Something important about your war beasts. Will you come? Daho stared at the message for a long time. He had three choices: attack and lose many soldiers, retreat in shame, or meet with the humans again. His entire life, he had been taught that the chorus way was the only way. Strength above all. Never show weakness. Never talk to enemies. But for the first time, he wondered if there might be another path. The next morning, Daho walked alone to the meeting place. It was a flat field halfway between the chorus ships and the human settlement. His officers had argued against this meeting. They said it was dangerous, that he should not go alone. But Daho needed to see for himself what the humans wanted to show him. He reached the field first and waited. The planet's sun was warm on his gray skin. Birds flew overhead, singing songs that reminded him of June's voice. Commander Daho. He turned to see my son approaching. She wore the same simple clothes as yesterday. But she was not alone. Walking beside her were two of the largest war beasts Daho had ever seen. They moved freely, without chains or handlers. Their yellow eyes watched him carefully. Daho's hand moved to his weapon automatically. You don't need that, my son said. They won't hurt you. Daho slowly moved his hand away from his weapon. Where is June? She sent me instead. She's preparing something special for you. My son stopped a few steps away from him. The two huge beasts sat down calmly beside her. Do you recognize these two? Daho looked at the beasts more carefully. Their skin had special markings, black spots on purple. They're alpha beasts, he said with surprise. From the breeding center on our home planet. The strongest of all war beasts. How did you get them? We didn't. My son smiled. They came down on your main ship. They were in special cages in the lower level. Daho nodded slowly. These beasts were so dangerous that even the chorus kept them locked away most of the time. They were used only for the most difficult battles. And they listen to you now. They listen to themselves. My son corrected. We've just helped them find their own voice. She looked at the beasts with clear affection. Would you like to see what they can do when they're not forced to be weapons? Before Daho could answer, my son made a soft clicking sound with her tongue. The two alpha beasts stood up. Then, to Daho's amazement, they began to move in perfect sync with each other. They jumped, spun, and rolled, their massive bodies surprisingly graceful. It looked almost like a dance. This is impossible, Daho whispered. Alpha beasts can't be trained like this. They're too aggressive. They're not trained, my son explained. They're expressing themselves. They enjoy moving their bodies in ways that aren't about hunting or killing. The beasts finished their display and returned to my son's side. She gently touched their heads. Now, she said, looking directly at Daho, I want to show you something important. She stepped back from the beasts and nodded to them. You're free. The beasts looked at her, then at each other. Then they stood up and moved away from her. Their bodies tensed. Their yellow eyes narrowed. They were no longer calm pets. They were once again the deadly hunters the chorus had created. One beast looked at Daho and growled deeply. It took a step toward him. Daho's heart raced. Without a neural link, he had no control over these creatures. They could tear him apart in seconds. The beast crouched, ready to pounce. Daho prepared to run, knowing it was useless. Then my son began to sing. Her voice wasn't as practiced as June's, but it carried the same strange quality, a sound that seemed to touch something deep inside. The effect on the beasts was immediate. They stopped, listened, and slowly relaxed. The one threatening Daho turned away and sat down peacefully. My son stopped singing. Do you understand now? We don't control them. We give them a choice. With us, they can be more than weapons. They can be partners. How can I believe this? Daho asked. My people have worked with these beasts for hundreds of years. We created them. Yes, my son nodded. You created them, but you never truly knew them. She looked at him with serious eyes. Just like you never truly knew us. 3 days later, Daho stood on the bridge of his ship watching a human transport land on the main deck. His officers stood behind him, still unhappy with his decision. But after what he had seen, Daho knew there was only one right path. The human delegation is here, Commander, Sun reported stiffly. Good. Bring them to the meeting room, Daho ordered. And make sure everyone treats them with respect. The meeting room had been prepared carefully. The war trophy displays had been removed. The seats were arranged in a circle, not with the chorus at the head as usual. It was a small change, but it felt important. My son entered first, followed by June and 3 other humans. 2 alpha war beasts walked calmly beside June. The chorus officers stepped back nervously, but Daho held his ground. Welcome to our ship, he said. Please, sit. When everyone was seated, Daho took a deep breath. I have made my decision. Against the orders of my high command, I am opening diplomatic talks with your colony. A murmur ran through the chorus officers. One slammed his fist on the table. This is treason, Commander. The high command will have your head. Perhaps, Daho said calmly. But I've seen enough to know that fighting these humans would be a mistake. Not just because we might lose, but because we might miss something valuable. Wise words, June said. She looked at the angry chorus officers. Your commander is not betraying you. He is leading you to something better than conquest. As if to prove her point, she began to hum softly. The alpha beasts, which had been sitting at her feet, stood up and walked around the table. Each one approached a different chorus officer and sat beside them. They want to connect with you, June explained. Not as masters in weapons, but as partners. Will you try? The room was silent. Then Jinwoo, surprising everyone, slowly reached out his hand to the beast next to him. The creature sniffed his fingers, then gently pressed its head against his palm. Jinwoo's eyes widened. I can feel it. Not just basic emotions like through the neural link. It's more. One by one, other officers tried the same thing. Some pulled back in fear, but others made the connection. Their faces showed wonder and confusion. This is just the beginning, my son said. We can teach your people how to truly communicate with the beasts, and not just with them, but with many species. It's what humans do best. We connect. The High Command will never accept this, Q warned. They've already sent orders for Commander Daho to be arrested for failing to attack. Then we'll have to convince them, Daho said firmly. Show them what I've seen. The meeting continued for hours, with humans explaining their vision for cooperation. By the end, many of the chorus officers were nodding in agreement. The war beasts stayed calm throughout, occasionally moving from one chorus to another, making new connections. 2 weeks later, a delegation from the chorus high command arrived, ready to arrest Daho and take over the invasion. But when they stepped off their ship, they found something unexpected. Humans and chorus were working together in the fields near the settlement. War beasts ran freely, helping with tasks or simply playing. And in the center, a small class of young chorus were sitting with June, learning to sing in the special way that connected with the beasts. The lead general watched in shock as a small chorus child sang a simple melody to a beast twice her size. The creature listened carefully, then gently nuzzled the child's hand. What is happening here? The general demanded. Daho, standing with my son, smiled. A new chapter in chorus history, General. Come, let me show you. My son nodded encouragingly. Sometimes, she said quietly, the greatest victory comes from choosing not to fight. Daiho looked at the peaceful scene before him. Yes, he agreed. I lost a battle but found something much more valuable. The human and the chorus walked side by side toward the future, neither conqueror nor conquered, but partners in something new.